Welcome to the Unpinned Podcast. My name is Fenley and I'm your Pinterest coach and manager, aka Pinterest Boss Babe for short, with a side of being a social media content creator. With this podcast, I am teaching you how to tap into the power of Pinterest and using it to your advantage. I love providing you with multiple sources of inspiration from the resources and thoughts of other business owners as well as myself who relate to your business journey. I empower you in your content creation and marketing strategy because I don't believe in a one size fits all formula. So let's get it. Hi, everyone. So, my name is Fenley, and I am the owner of Just Fenley. And I wanted to take the time today to actually answer a question that I was asked earlier today. And the question was, where were you at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey? And if I wanted to elaborate further before that. And I found this question to be really interesting because I, before I even started my business, I was your typical 9 to 5 office worker. And I was in kind of a bad place in terms of like workplace environment. Like it wasn't healthy for me. And long story short, I was eventually pushed because I came to the realization that I did not deserve to be treated the way I was being treated, especially as a worker who worked really hard and did her job. So I quit my job and, well, at first, actually, I take that back. I actually started part time for a little while and to try and see if I could, still make some stable income while I'm starting up my job. And while I was thinking about that whole entire thing, a few months before I even became part time, I was already thinking about what I wanted to do and how I was going to go about, starting my own business. And I thought back to the times where I used to design a lot of posts. So I decided, well, that's something I really love to do. I want to convert that into a business. So I decided to go with digital printables. And I thought that was going to be a really good thing for me. So I went ahead and I did that. And lo and behold, um, after doing my part time job and all this other stuff and getting everything going, lo and behold, it didn't really work out all that great. So for me, like, I did that for a while, and then after giving it some time and some thought, I started to lose a little bit of motivation because I only made a couple of sales and it wasn't really going all that great. So because I had supportive friends and family, and that's where the sales were coming from. I appreciate them, by the way, for buying, but at the same time, I felt like something wasn't right with what I was doing with my business. Like it was like I was missing something, and I didn't know what it was because I didn't have a business coach at the time. I didn't have any kind of guidance. I was pretty much doing this on my own and trying to work things out. So I moved on to the next best thing that I like to do, which was crocheting. And I started making some stuff out of like yarn and whatnot. And I put it up. And funny story to that, like I want to say like the highlight of the entire time, even though I didn't sell a lot, the one thing that did sell was the thing that took me the longest time to make. It was an ombre. And if you're wondering what ombre is, it's just different shades of the same color. So this was this ombre blue like Gyarados that I made. It's gonna be unique and one of a kind because you can't imitate the colors, that the way that the yarn colors come out. You can't imitate it. It's always going to be different no matter if you buy the same kind of roll or not. Each roll is going to be different. Roll of yarn is going to be different, excuse me. So with that being said, when I put it up for sale, I didn't think anybody was going to buy it because I put it up for $120. And lo and behold, somebody bought it within 4 hours. So I shrugged my shoulders at that and I figured that's not feasible if it took me like a week to a week and a half to make. And I only got $100, 120 some odd dollars out of it, or less than that because I had to pay for the shipping. Either way, it just wasn't feasible. And I was coming to this point where I didn't know what to do. And I still kept doing it, but I thought maybe I needed some outside help. So I started attending workshops. And that's how I came across my now business coach, who gave me an interesting point of view. And she said, for me to write down my ideal of a perfect day, which I did. And when she wanted me to read it back to her, she said that out of the whole entire time that I did that assignment, not once did I mention digital printables, not once did I mention crochet. So she told me I was in the wrong business and I needed to reevaluate whatever it is that I was doing because that wasn't my true passion. So I said, okay, fine. So I reevaluated and I thought about the time where before I got the last job that I quit, I was in between. I was really thinking about being a Pinterest manager, and I was, trying to learn everything about Pinterest and get everything going. But because I wasn't having it done fast enough, finances were creeping up. So I had to get that last office job that I had. Anyway, long story short, I ended up pivoting to become a Pinterest manager, and that's basically what I did. I I have to say something to this because I have to talk about my feelings and my thoughts at the time. So before I quit my job, like well before I quit my job, there few months before that there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of thoughts running through my head about what if this doesn't work out? What if I fail? Um, what if, whatever I'm doing doesn't resonate with people? What if what I want to offer people isn't what they want and I'm never going to have, you know, people who want my stuff or people who want to work with me or whatever it is. I had a lot of fears. And at the time, despite my fears, I also felt like, despite my thoughts that I was having, I also felt deep down that I I needed this. I needed to build my own path. I needed to have my own journey because I knew that I was worth something and I wasn't going to find it in my office job. I realized after the many jobs that I've been through that the my worthiness that I was seeking, I wasn't going to get through a 9 to 5 job. And that's how I saw it as. And despite my fears and everything, I felt super motivated to just push and get out of the space that I was in because otherwise I was just going to sit there and be miserable, for the rest of however long I decide to be miserable for because I would have still been there. And a lot of the emotions that I had was, a lot of it came from a place of I genuinely just wanted something better for myself. That is basically what it was. And despite all the fears I had, I pushed through and I managed, and I that's how I'm where I'm at right now. And if I look back at where I was in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey compared to now, there's a huge gap in not only my growth in my personal side of things, but also my business. I mean, your business is a part of you, it's connected to you. So when you grow, it grows. Maybe not in the same aspect, maybe in a different aspect, but in some way, shape, or form, your business grows with you and it's something that changes with you as well. I felt like I have changed from the time since I first started my business. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't very confident. Um, I was pretty self-loathing to be honest. I was self-sabotaging and I had a lot of issues in regards to like starting a business. Like I was not in the right mindset to start a business, but my saving grace was my open-mindedness and my open heart. I was willing to learn and I was willing to be open to the possibilities and the ideas of what other people have told me or the advice or the opinions and even words of wisdom to tell me, how to get through whatever I'm getting through. It's, and I also feel like because I didn't know, right? Because I was less self aware back then too, because I didn't know what I was doing and where I was going. And, I had finally got to myself a business coach so I could get some guidance. I felt like the universe was being very gracious to me. And by universe, I'm just referring to, angels, spirit guides, God, just everything inclusive, all inclusive. So I felt like the universe was being very gracious to me because I felt like it put training wheels on me and kind of helped push me forward in getting through whatever I needed to get through in order to grow, in order to be the kind of person that I am today, uh, in my business. And everything just went through a nice flowing phase. Like it's like, okay, here's this, you need to work through this, and here's that, you need to work through that. And oh, here's this, focus on this, and here's that. And that caused me to grow. So it helped me to say, you know what, I am a person of love. I am a person that is worthy of things. I am a person that deserves um all the things that I do want in life. And I should, you know, I am more self confident. I can't say that I am completely self confident because I do know that there are some areas that does hinder me from being confident enough to make the decisions that I want to make. But majority of the time now I can make decisions and I can be fairly confident in it and have no doubt. And that's just something that I have to work on. And that's just something that I'm growing into still. And everything with your business is going to be growing pains. And from the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey to now, I look back and I have to say, like, I don't regret with the amount of growth and the experiences that I had. I have to say that I'm very grateful for it from beginning to now. And it's kind of funny that we are in this moment of reflecting because I feel like this is the time to change. So, change and actionable change, I guess, to say, is what I want to refer to this month as because we spent, June and July kind of just reflecting upon things and, thinking about directions. And I've come to a point where I'm at a pivoting point where I want to change the direction of where I want to take my business. And with that came fear. And I want to elaborate on that because whenever you start a business, whenever you do something different, whenever you are going through like some kind of decision, whatever it may be, fear is always going to be the thing that hinders you or pushes you back from doing the things that you want to do. And the thing that you have to ask yourself is, despite that fear, on the other side of it, am I going to get what I want? If I push past the fear, if I can get through the fear, if I can overcome it, will I be able to obtain whatever it is that I want? Will I get to my goal? The answer is majority of the time, I want to say like 99.9% of the time, it's yes. If you push past your fear, you will get what you want. And it also brought back this saying, and I keep forgetting who says it, but the more that you fear something, the more it becomes a reality in your life. And, I've seen people who, and I've experienced it myself too. I've been the type of person that I fear something and I try so hard to prevent it. I do everything that I can to prevent it. I think of everything I can to prevent my fear from coming true. And because the more I believed in that fear, the more I believed it to be something that would come to pass or that would come true, the more power I gave it. So it became a part of my reality and I subconsciously manifested it because whatever I feared came to life. And guess what? I ended up not being able to deal with the fear because whatever I had planned, it just fell through. It just didn't work out. And it's because it came from a place of fear and a place of like scarcity. Like you're doing it because you feel scared of something. And you also are doing it because you feel like you're going to lose something. Whenever there's fear, the majority of the time it, deals with a sense of loss. Like you're like, oh, but what if I'm scared of something like an animal or something? I said, well, you're still scared of a loss because you're scared of either, losing your limb or not having control over the situation or, being faced with a problem that you can't seem to face. I just feel like fear just comes from a place of loss. And that's the reason why when you fear something and it becomes a manifested into your reality, it majority of the time it's a negative thing because it comes from a place of loss. Now, if you come from a place of abundance and knowing that whatever you believe in will be a source of good, it will come from a place of abundance and truth and faith and light and whatever else it is that you believe in, to be on the other side of the result of your manifestations. That is what I feel overcomes those kind of situations. And I just wanted to share that. So, wherever you are at as a business owner in your entrepreneur journey, I hope this helps you to understand that you're really not alone. Everybody goes through this whole entire phase of feeling fear because for whatever your reasons it is, you're most likely going through the same kind of fears other people are going through, and it's not an uncommon thing. And I wish I knew that way before, because I probably would have started this business years and years ago when I first wanted to be a Pinterest manager. But there was this fear that I wasn't going to be able to deliver the amount of financial security that I wanted to be comfortable. And because of that, I pushed myself out, or I pretty much talked myself out of doing it. And I can't say I regret it because that's a negative thing to say, but it it is something that I just wish that I had the same wisdom and knowledge that I know now back then. So I'm hoping that this reaches someone out there or anyone out there that is thinking about becoming a business owner or is a business owner, to remember that your fear is what's going to be holding you back from anything that it is that you want to do or anything that it is that you desire. So my biggest thing to you is to do it. You want change, you got to do something about it. Change doesn't happen if you do nothing. I mean, for yourself. And I hope that makes sense. So, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. And I hope this really helps you make your decisions and push past your fear. So, have a wonderful day and take care.
Thank you so much for listening to the Unpin podcast today. If you'd like today's episode and would love to hear more in the future, save me to your library by hitting that heart button or the follow button. Or if you would like to be even closer in connection to me, I have all of my links in the episode's descriptions so you can see what I'm up to or even ask me a question. Until the next episode, keep pinning.